welcome back to my channel. My name is WENDU ISAAC. Today we're going to be talking about starting a business in 2021. I have my friends here who all started businesses last year, whether it's in like services or products. So I'm going to get them to introduce themselves, and then we're going to go into like questions of how this year has been for them.
My name is Peggy. The business I own is Purposely Custom. Some of the items we sell are prints, like wall prints, t-shirts, candles, as you can see. So yeah, that's what we do for now.
Nice. Okay. Santish.
Hi guys, I'm Santish. I'm the owner of Sema Handmade. I make handmade jewelry from polymer clay. And I started my business during the pandemic.
Wow. Talk about it. All right, Naomi.
So hey guys, my name is Naomi. I'm the founder of Beautiful Honesty, and I basically talk about the creative's guide to walking in purpose and creating authentic art. So.
Wow. That's a little bit deep. Yes. That's a little intense. Yeah.
Just a bit. You know, for the soul. So.
Child. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, and I'm Alina, and I'm the owner of 2020 Skincare, which is an all-natural skincare brand, and we sell products featuring shea butter. And I also have to mention that Santish is also the co-owner of an event planning business called The Diamond Experience.
Oh, yes.
I forgot to say that. Here we are.
Yes, but she also does that as well.
Wow, only you two businesses.
Wow.
Talk about starting a business in a pandemic.
So I started not because I was bored or anything, but because I love DIY projects, and I think this was one way for me to do it and also save some money. So when I discovered that you can make your own earrings out of clay, polymer clay, I was like, this is it. I'm going to try. So I think I found a YouTube video, and the day after I went to buy the products to start.
Wow.
But I read like about everything the night before, and that's how I started.
Did you have to like write a business plan and do all that planning before you started? You just went in?
So for the earrings, that's not something I did, the business plan, but like I'm also a co-owner for the Dive Experience, which is an event planning. So for that one, we actually sat down and talked about what we wanted, the vision, the mission, and everything, the values that we want to uphold, the goal of our business. So that's something we worked on before launching. But for my earrings, I just launched. But then I knew I had to actually sit down. I think I was just being lazy with that part. But yeah, I did it after I launched my earrings business.
That's cool. So all of you guys kind of started your business in 2020, right? Can you tell us about what it is to actually have a business and run a business in 2020? The highs, the lows, the opportunities. Let's start from you, Peggy.
I would say it's interesting because right now is a time where everyone is starting a business. So you have to really set yourself apart. Like what's different about you compared to the hundreds of other people who've recently also just started a business.
Right.
If you're in it, you know, for longevity and not just for like a short run. I think that's the big thing. Like focusing on like how can I set myself apart from everyone else.
That's cool. Any one of you want to tell us why? How? Highs, lows?
Okay, well, I'll say with Beautiful Honesty, I thankfully got opportunities to even work with other people and things like that. So I'd say that just when you start, just kind of course, go into it, but of course, opportunities and things like that, when they show up, don't be shocked by it. I think for a little bit, I almost be like, okay, I'm only like almost about 300 followers in, but there's people kind of being like, hey, like do this for me for a long time. And I'm like, oh, okay, wow. Like, so definitely not be shocked by the highs, I would say.
That's a word. That's a word for somebody. Is that somebody you?
Oh my gosh.
What do you guys do? You both have this like sound together. Okay. So just talk about like the highs and the lows.
The highs and lows, the opportunities. You know, 2020, having a business.
Yeah.
In this crazy year.
So I think that like honestly starting this year, well, I didn't start this year, I started last year, but I mean like being in business in 2020, I think has been probably like one of the best things, only because when you start a business, you already have so many challenges and so many highs and lows.
Right.
And so with the fact that it's a pandemic, it's like it almost forces you to be like, okay, like I'm in this, I'm doing this, like as Peggy said, like I'm in it for the long run. So like when all the things are coming, like you're learning to, okay, I have to adapt to this shift. Okay, now stores are closing. Okay, now stores are open. Okay, now people are buying online. Okay, now people want to do this and do this. So it's like you're trying to adapt to all these new things. So having all those experiences has actually been super beneficial for me in this year, and being like a new entrepreneur and a new business owner. So yeah, that's
cool. So I know with you, you're like longer. I mean, your business is older than you're no longer. You've been in business longer, and your business has had like so many successes. You've expanded into like different retail stores. Can you talk about expanding? Like, how do you go about starting like from Instagram and people are sending you DMs to order to actually people are now saying, oh, I want to carry your brand, I want to carry your product. Like, how do you get into that?
So the thing is okay, first of all, I think kind of like what Naomi was saying, like you have to be prepared. So when someone does come to you and says, hey, would you like to be in my shop? I'd be like, oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? Like, no, sorry, like I'm not ready for that, bye now. So doing that, I think again with 2020 and the year that it was, there was a lot more opportunities of people reaching out to me without me having to go and make those connections. So that was one big thing. Two is networking. Like even in the pandemic, you still got to network. And so being able to talk to certain people and knowing who the right person to talk to, finding the right people, I guess, and being able to do that. And then for me, I can't say that I don't know the secret. Honestly, it's just like the grace of God that's just allowed like people to come every single time and just be like, hey, we want your product. Hey, we need more product. Hey, we're running out. Hey, bring more. So it's like that constant thing of hey, here you go. But yeah, I think that it's just honestly just been like, that's just the blessing of me having been in business this year, is just that like all these doors open for me to be able to be that. And then again, like one of the biggest things, it's a that word, the thing that it goes, it's like a domino effect. So like for example, with Megan with BB Collection, she was our first retailer, first stockist, and so I think after people saw me in her store, then those people who follow her and know her and are friendly with her were like, oh, like if Megan is saying 2020 skincare is good, I'm gonna say okay, I'm gonna buy it too. So then they kind of started to purchase. And then it expanded to that. Then someone else who knows her was like, oh, hey, I saw that you have this connection with this person. Like, let me know or whatever. Or do you recommend this? Or they see you in other stores. So now they're like, oh, well, one of my big ones was Terra 20. Like, that was probably like my, like, that's my claim to fame. Or like, that's the thing that really made me reputable is like, if Terra 20 is like featuring you in their store, you're like, you must be legit. So now it's like, that level of trust was established. And then of course like being present, being active online, like creating relationships with your customers and things like that, like all those things help too. So then over like time, then someone else will say, oh, hey, I just went into the store in Hittenberg and I noticed that they don't carry any body butters, like maybe you should reach out to them and sell your product there. They're like, okay, cool. And then you send a message, or it's a store that they go to all the time, so they're like, oh, I know the owner, I can just give you his info and then he'll send it over. So
wow, that's cool. So like
relationships.
Nice. So did you like go into the year knowing like I want to have my products in like 5 retail places in this year, or it just happened like you said?
No, I intentionally did go into this year, and it's funny because in April, I think, of this year, like right before I launched the website, or right after, April this year. Anyways, in April of this year, I wrote out basically that like by the end of this year, I wanted to be able to be in one store. So I literally like limited myself because testimony. I was talking to this girl, basically like she was like, the sentence that she gave me was, wouldn't it be cool if? So it was like, wouldn't it be cool if, and then you fill in the blanks to everything in your business you want to do. So like, wouldn't it be cool if we ended the year with 4 different scents? Wouldn't it be cool if we were in one store? Wouldn't it be cool if we had $50,000 in sales? Like whatever that thing is. And so then I set my goal of 1 because I was like, if I'm thinking of me and right now where I am, 1 is achievable. I know 1 store or a couple stores I can reach out to. I might get some no's, but I'll get some yeses. And so yeah, it was just 1 store.
Wow.
And so I definitely smashed that goal.
You definitely did.
Yeah, that was
That's cool.
my plan.
How many stores do you have now? Just so the people.
Off the top of my head.
Off the top of your head.
I believe it's 6.
Wow.
So just give me a second, I'll count.
We're counting over here. Let me tell you guys, it's not too late. It's not too early to start your business. This is why we're doing this and talking about it. So, Peggy, how, I know like part of your business is actually like carrying people's products and actually being a retailer. Like, so how do you decide who you want to have on your, on your website? Like, how do you decide that?
I choose my friends.
Okay. Talk about it.
No, honestly, I think that the Black community and the African community, let's even go there, doesn't support and uplift each other enough.
Right.
And we see that in other communities. We see that in like the Jewish community, like
Exactly.
their money cycles within their community.
Right.
So one thing I wanted to do with my business was to make sure it basically blesses or financially blesses my friends as well.
Right.
So whether it is including their products in my shop, doing like promos with them, like
Right.
any way that I can incorporate people that I know that are talented and gifted, and it matches with whatever line or the exactly of the product I want to do. That was my aim. So
That's cool. Cool. So like, let's talk about being Black and having a business in Canada, because that's our like frame of reference. What would you say? Are there like opportunities? I know 2020, like there's a lot of information and light that was cast into like the Black community and how we're treated in business and how more spaces should be open and everything. Would you say that those kind of conversations kind of made room for your businesses to grow this year, or like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Why are you serious?
It's true. Before 2020, people weren't checking for Black businesses.
No.
People weren't being purposefully weren't purposefully looking for Black businesses. But now people are like looking, like, oh, you're a Black woman and you own a business, like I want to buy from you. Like they don't care about the product yet, but once they actually try the product and have your service, that's when you obviously get the deals. Like how amazing Alina is doing. Like that's how you actually get those stockists. But to start off, a lot of people just come to you because they see that you are a new business, you're a small business, you're in Canada, you're Black, you're a woman. So there's a lot of I guess checks that right? Like you match those checks in the box. But I guess it's been beneficial for us in that sense, especially this year. So
do you think that this tide we can continue to ride, or do you think it's gonna as the years go on? What do you think? Like, what's your thought process? I mean, obviously we hope that it's going to continue. Actually being involved with Black businesses, but what do you think is going to be happening realistically? What do you think will happen?
That's a really good question.
I think that like what Peggy is saying, like a lot of businesses have kind of like made it a point to seek out Black owned businesses, or like employers have made it a point to seek out Black people, like those sorts of things. So I hope that like that will stay in place, in the sense of like why, like the root of them recognizing that there is like that systemic discrimination, that there's like the inequalities in the systems that are like forcing Black people to have less advantages. So I hope that like they'll continue to do that, because they know that this is a thing. So they have to it has to be an ongoing thing, not just like, oh, okay, we had a year and this is how it was, and like we're gonna finish with it. So I would hope that that's how it would be. But then again, I also think that Black people in general have to also be able to like uphold those same standards and have a business that's reputable and worth coming back again and again to, and worth patronizing, right? So then it's like, I'm using your product not just because you're Black anymore, just because like it's an actually good product and this is what I need, or like your services are actually legit, and so I'm coming back because I know that you'll be able to give me what it is that I need. So
that's a oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say, I think if we want the wave not to do this, I think as Black people, or like as the community, we have to mention each other's names in like rooms where you are. So if you want me to keep you don't have to buy, especially if you can't. Let's say you can't wear earrings because you have a problem, or like I'm doing this, our events, like we cater to like intentional events, like small events, and you're like, oh, I'm looking for something different. But if you hear someone's looking for, oh, do you know someone that makes like earrings? I'm looking for a gift. Like mention 2020. I'm like, they made this product. Or mention semi-handmade. Mention purposely custom. Mention Naomi. Like she makes really good stuff. So like, if you're looking for ways to uplift the community, you have to say something. You can't just and bring people. Like just mention our names and just like send people our way. I think that itself will help us to like really go.
I think we also need to uphold or increase our credibility, because you hear a lot of people complaining about Black-owned businesses, the work ethic, the service, and all of that. So you guys are all like obviously business owners. How do you make sure that you're staying above that? I guess what's the word?
Noise
or standard.
Noise or standard. Like how do you make sure that you're going above and beyond to break those? What is this English? When people have
barriers or like
not necessarily
stereotypes.
Thank you. That word is hard. Like how do you make sure that you're breaking those stereotypes by your service or like by what you're offering?
I guess I would say just make it a point to be punctual in any way that you can. Like not necessarily, of course, show up on time because it's your business. I mean, just kind of doing things in a certain way. Make sure you're being organized. In certain situations, learn. Like go online. I'm sure there's things that you can learn and look at and be like, okay, this is how they're doing it. Maybe I can implement it into what I'm doing. So you're not kind of honestly just doing whatever and then just hoping it works. Because I think when you get into that vein, what happens is it's very easy to just be short term. And if we want to be credible, if we want to even be in the rooms, we have to, at least have some kind of organization or something going for sure. Yeah.
And I think also like if you're a business, say you're a business and be a business. If it's a hobby, say it's a hobby and you're doing it for fun. I think sometimes like we don't give ourselves like that like credit of like, oh, I own a business, I'm a business owner, I founded this.
Just like, oh, I just do this on the side.
It's just something that I do. It's just a fun hobby. It's like, okay, if it's fun, like let it be fun. We're not giving you any pressure, it doesn't have to make any money, like you do what you do. But if it's a business, like you have to, there's certain things you have to be able to uphold as a business. So it's like you have to be able to make it clear within yourself first of all, right? Because sometimes like you reach out to a company that you think is a business, but the lady is saying that she just does it for fun on the weekends that she just started, she's not too sure.
Or you like message them on social media, they don't reply for weeks, and you're like, well, you're promoting that I should buy from you.
And they have an advertisement every day.
What?
Oh yeah, or the things say like, I have this available. You contact them and they say we only have this. And you're like, why are you advertising? Like, those sort of things.
But if it's for fun, like it's fine to be for fun. Just make it clear that that's what it is. So we don't expect that. Oh, I can come to you on Monday morning and order my thing and receive it by the end of the week. It's like, no, fam, just do what I do.
Okay, so let's talk about practical things, right?
Yes.
We're talking to people who might potentially want to start a business in 2021. How do you go about it? How do you get funding? Like, what would you say are the practical steps that someone needs to take to start a business?
I can start. First of all, if you have an idea, if it's something that you're passionate about and you think it's adding value to people, just start. Like it doesn't need to be perfect. Like I promise you, I'll one day post the pictures of like my first earrings. I'm pretty sure people will laugh. Like if you love it, you know that, oh, I'm pretty sure people will come and buy this. You just start. But like before you start, you have to have like some money. So like if you know, okay, this is the idea that I have, save, like start saving now. If you want to start in 2021, just start saving now. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Like I promise you, it doesn't have to be a lot. And I think the government has like funding for businesses. There's like so many there are many resources out there for you to start. So like have an idea, then draw. Like I think the first mistake I made with semi-handmade is not like doing my business plan, but like do it. Like at least just know what you're offering, like your mission, your goal, why you're doing what you're doing. So at least when someone asks you, oh, what is semi-handmade about? You have an answer. Like you know how to actually defend your business. You like you won't just be like you know, I just do this, and it's like you have to have like answers. People can't come to you and you don't know how to say, okay, this is what I make. Right. Like you have to be able to defend your product and like really fight for it, because you know if you make it, then you believe in it. So like you have to show other people that this is my product and I believe in it. And some people won't buy because it's not for everybody. Right. And you have to be ready for that. Like just because someone came to you and asked for the price doesn't mean they will buy. Right. And it's okay. Like that's just, they might come back later. It's okay. So, and if you're not finding opportunities, create them. Like go to, I don't know, like find some people, ask them, hey, like you can actually go to stores and ask them, hey, like I make this, you want to like sell them in your shop? If they say no, go to the next stop. Like don't worry. Nothing. Yeah, you've lost nothing. So like, and just in your community, find people that you can collaborate with. Because I felt like in 2020, we really saw that collaboration was valued above competition. Like there's really like a community of people that you can go to and ask questions. You don't have to do it by yourself. Like some people have gone before you so that you don't make the mistakes that like you don't need to repeat the same mistakes, because people have gone before you. So just ask questions. Be ready to hear some no's, but you will hear yeses. Like after, eventually it will grow. Like don't try and start big. Like just start small, and eventually it will grow. And then I think that's the beauty of it, because you start from like your house, from your room, then you go into a warehouse, and you're in shops and everywhere, in magazines and stuff. So yeah, that's basically what I have.
Preach.
That's really good. I think just going off of that, it's like not being entitled. Not assuming that because you started this business and because you believe in it so much that everyone else will also understand it and believe in it as much as you. That's just the fact. Like it's unfortunate. And you want, it's the same thing. Like you hope and you want people to obviously love your product as much as you do, but just not everyone will. Like, what you make is not for everyone, and that's okay. And not everyone that may not believe in your product. That doesn't mean that they're a hater. It just means that it's not for them. Those are the main things,
That's good. So money, right? We're on the subject of money. Money. How do you? So like we're close to obviously the end of the year. Yes. Would you say that you exceeded your financial goals that you set for your business in this year, or was it like below what you expected and you're hoping for the best? Let's be transparent, right? Because like in your planning, you kind of wrote like, oh, we're hoping like by this time of the year, we're estimating that we'll get this. Would you say that that's kind of what has happened, or it's still like, we believe you, Lord, 2021?
God of the 11th hour.
Do it for your girl. So yeah, go ahead, anybody.
I would say I was definitely shocked. And honestly, I think that's why. No, seriously, I think that's why. Like going back to what we first talked about, like knowing that you're a business, right? That really, because at first I won't lie, it was kind of like this thing I was doing, and I was just. But then later, honestly, like after speaking to friends and things like that, I'm like, okay, I think it's important that I have something in place. But then by God's grace this year, and thankfully, like I was getting, funds here and there, and like even the things that I would produce, like even those things were new. It's not like I had skills about it like years ago. It was just I sat there and I'm like, no, like I feel like I can really do this and do this well. And so even with that, I really think God blew my mind in terms of even the skills that I picked up and the people that I got to connect with. It just kind of happened. So yeah, like he did exceed my expectations like a lot. So I'm happy about it.
Nice. Anybody?
For me, I actually didn't have a financial goal. Well, I didn't have a written number, but my financial goal was to not be in debt.
Right. Yeah.
Like because when you start off, like there's so many things that you have to purchase and have so much money you have to put in. Right. So my goal was for the first year, and I started technically in July, like is when I launched. So by July of next year, I would want to be above, like making is it a net? Zero.
Gross, who knows? A profit now.
Break even. Yeah, like within a year, I don't want to be in debt because there's so many things I get to put in your first year, like buying inventory, buying a label printer that cost me like what, $400? Like it's expensive.
This label printer.
Oh my god, that's another story. But only Jesus.
Jesus.
So yeah, that was my goal. My goal was just to make sure that I made back all the money that I put in. And actually, I haven't done a financial, like I haven't gone through my books in like over a month, which you shouldn't. Don't do that. Don't be
like
the more often you do, the better, because then you don't have to go back and you start to forget, like, oh, when was this, when is that?
Right.
But so that's the truth.
So but the last time you checked,
last time I checked, I was breaking even, so that's
wow.
good. I made
good.
back everything that I put into my business, and it's been, I think, 6
months.
maybe.
So even before like your goal.
Yeah,
Look at Jesus.
Wow.
Look at God. Give it up for the Lord Jesus. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. All right, Samba.
Good.
I think, like Peggy said, I didn't have a financial goal, but I was just talking in terms of I want to sell, like, I think at first I started with, I'll be fine with one pair like every week. If someone orders like one pair every week, I'll be fine. But now as like, I think I started in August.
Right, yeah.
I think, yeah. And like every week I have like minimum 2 orders.
Hey,
So
wow.
I'm happy. And I think at first I was just thinking that it will stay in Ottawa, that people won't order. And then when I first got when I got my first sale out of Ottawa, the way I jumped, I was like, what? How did you find me?
Yeah.
So just having people outside of like my circle.
Right, yeah.
I think that was my goal. Like people outside that don't know me to
Right.
buy my products. Because I know I have amazing friends.
Right.
And they tell me when something is not good, like
Right.
they'll tell me, so I'll change it. But like having people that don't know me personally buy my products,
Right.
and that was my goal.
That's
to be honest.
nice.
Yeah.
All right,
My
2020.
turn.
Your time.
Yeah, so I think that I definitely surpassed my goal. But that's just a thought because again, me and Peggy, she still does her own books. Me, I just hired someone else because I don't want to play with that game. So, but yeah, I know myself. But anyways, I set a goal similar to Santish. So my goal was just to be able to make 10 sales a week. So knowing that like on my website every week I would be able to see that. And I think the thing that was most surprising to me was just this last quarter because I didn't realize how crazy like Christmas, holidays, all that stuff was
So
gonna
this is
be.
your first holiday.
Exactly, the season,
right.
yeah. So like that was my first time experiencing it. So I like just in this season alone, like I probably made what I made in just like the year.
Wow.
So it's like crazy to see how like big of a jump it is. But yeah, like I think knowing that like I set that goal of like how many sales I want to see, so how many like people basically I wanted to see going through the website, and then that's not counting like all the wholesale and retail orders that I did. So with that, obviously like that wasn't even a thing, right? Because I was just like one person. So my goal for that was just to have maybe like one shop by 10 items. So knowing that like it's been much more than that, I definitely have surpassed it. Like I don't see that I wouldn't have, but I just don't know like what the exact like figures are to be able to say. But I mean, I know definitely exceeded. Yeah. At least I've done 10 sales a week. So
wow, that's nice. That's great. Well, we're gonna round up here because I know people don't like to sit through, long videos. But thank you guys for, answering our questions. Okay, my questions transparently. You can just like end with like one sentence for people who are considering starting a business, and we just start from you and then go one sentence. Okay,
that's how
keep it, sweet. Yeah.
If you're passionate about it and it's on your heart to do it, do it.
Good.
You never know what tomorrow holds. You can't expect to be here tomorrow. So if you have an idea, do it, because you're not the master of your own life.
Ooh. Gotta preach.
Okay, I will say don't rush. You don't have to rush. Don't let anybody rush you. But yeah, just take your time if you have to. You don't have to kind of like someone said, make it go big. Just start small. Right.
And I will say that make sure that you're taking care of yourself and prioritizing your time and your relationships and the things that are important to you. That's a very big thing, that it's like easy to get consumed with just working all the time. But I think it's way more than one sentence. But it's important to take care of yourself.
Right. Cool. Thank you guys for joining day, and see you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.